Hey guys, so I want to show you how you can connect root to your own domain, create a subdomain under a domain that you own, and have that be the subdomain that is part of the branding of the links that you're sending. So right now, if you're shortening a link with root, you're actually getting that URL as root.bz/ and some sort of slug. We want to show you how you can connect it to your subdomain and actually have that branded, so you'll be sending out branded links that your clients will better recognize. It's a pretty simple action. The only thing is you do need access to your cPanel, right? So to where your site is hosted, where your domain is actually hosted, and the access to the cPanel where you're doing all the records. I'll be showing it on my domain, davidzissner.pro, and we'll be adding CNAME records. I'll go through the steps. Just make sure you either have access through the cPanel or you know the person who has access and can do the configuration. It's a really simple configuration. You can actually be able to send them a file that shows them what to do. It's very, very simple. You just need to make sure you have access to cPanel. I'm using a service called JetServer. This is what their cPanel looks like. I have several domains here, and it may look different on your end if you're using a different hosting solution, but the intent of the action is the same. So let me go to root and actually go to the settings. Under settings, there's a tab called custom domains. And in it, you should be able to configure either one custom domain, if you're either on the free or the initial plan, or in higher plans, you have additional domains, right? So I'll be saying this, use a custom domain, because I haven't configured a domain for my, a subdomain for this account yet. So I'll be asked to enter the custom domain. Now the custom domain is my domain with a subdomain at the beginning of it. So like we said, my domain is davidzissner.pro. Right, we have several examples that we showed here. This is actually my domain. Okay, let's say I want to have it l.davidzissner.pro. All right, so l.davidzissner.pro, and then the slug for the actual URL. I'll hit next. And right now what will happen is root will create the DNS record details. It can take up to 5 minutes for this small table to populate. What will happen is when it populates, we'll have two records here of type CNAME. Each will have a name and a value, and we'll be entering those into the CNAME record here on the DNS hosting under Zone Editor. So it can take up to 5 minutes to populate. So I'll stop this video until it is populated. And here we can see that, like I said, two rows were created. Each has a name and a value. Each is of type CNAME. And if this is Chinese to you and you're unfamiliar with what to do with it, just hit download. You'll see that a CSV file is downloaded. You can send it to your admin, right? So whoever is handling your domain, your site, or whatever, doing the technical stuff, you can send them this and tell them, just put those under my domain. They'll do it. It's a minute's work, right? But so if you need them to do it, you have the information here. Let's say you want to do it on your own. So we have here, like I said, two records of type CNAME. Each has a name and a value, and there's an icon for copying them. So I'll copy the name of the first one. I'll go to the Zone Editor. Under name, I'll have the name. And different hosting solutions have different requirements. Some require that you remove the dot at the end. Some require that you remove the domain altogether, just leave whatever's before it. It varies. JetServer, their cPanel accepts the value as is. We have seen a couple of other hosting solutions that don't have special requirements. We will try to create some sort of catalog on if you're hosted here, do this. If you're hosting it here, do that. But if you have any problem, just feel free to write to us and we'll help. So I copied the name. I'll now copy the value. And I'll do it again because I have two rows, two items. So I'll copy the name again. And I'll copy the value again. Okay, I've done all I need to do here. If I did everything correct, I won't have to be in the cPanel anymore. So once I did that, I press verify. Now, the actual verification process can take up to 24 hours because data has to be propagated through servers. You don't have to sit right now and just watch it all the time, right? The second your domain is verified, we'll be sending you an email. So you can just go on with it. I can press view my domains here. I'll see that I have one domain in verification pending status. I can remove it if I want to add another one, but I have right now one domain. And like I said, it can take up to 24 hours. Just go on with your day, go on with your work, and just check your inbox from time to time. Usually for me, it takes a couple of minutes to get the domain verified, but it doesn't mean anything. It can take up to 24 hours. So I'll pause the video and I'll show you which email you'll be getting once your domain is verified. Okay, so a couple of minutes have passed in my case, and I'm getting this confirmation email for the domain that is associated with my Roo account. Your custom domain on Roo is ready to use, and it's showing my domain and everything. And if I go back to Roo now, I refresh, I'll see that my subdomain is no longer pending verification. It's actually verified. All right. So as far as working with the cPanel and doing the whole and everything, we're done. We don't have to do that anymore. Now I want to show you how that works with the Make, and obviously that works with the API the same. So let me open the Make app, and I have this account already connected. And let's just look at the basic URL creation now. Everything that has worked for you before with Roo, with the schedule redirect, with the webhooks, everything works just the same, just on your domain. So if I create a URL, I have my account connected. Let's say the URL I want to shorten is google.com. And I have here a drop down of the domains. Now, before I connected my subdomain, I had just roo.bz here is the domain. Now I'll see that automatically I also have the new domain I connected, l.davizisner.pro. All right, let's leave the custom slug aside. We'll talk about that in just a minute. So let me run that now. Now the short link I'm creating, instead of that being a RubyZ link, it's actually l.davizisner.pro / and the custom slug. All right, so seeing I'm redirected to Google, and like I said, everything works just the same as it did before. So you have all the functionality that you had with Roo before, you have now just on your domain. It's branded for you. Now let's look at the custom slug. Let's say I want to take the link I created, and as you're seeing, it has an ending. That's called a slug. Now the slug is randomly generated by Roo to be different for each short link, but with custom domain, we actually added the ability to customize the slug for your choice. So let's say that I want this slug I want this URL to be l.davizisner.pro / search. So I'm putting search here as my custom slug. By default, alternative slug will be no, and I'll show you what that is used for. And if I create a short link now, you see that I have my domain / search. All right. So I'm going to Google. Now, let's say I want to run that again and use the same custom slug. First of all, I can't use the same custom slug twice on the same domain. So for my domain, l.davizisner.pro, I can use search, I can use whatever custom slug I want, but I can only use it once. Other custom domains, other users can use their custom slugs just the same. So if I have another domain, myautomation.com, and I have my short links there, I can have a search there as well. But right now what I try to do is actually reuse the same slug twice. And Roo is telling me that it's not possible. Only one short URL can use a single slug. So I'm getting an error back, slug already in use. Now, if something like that happens, obviously we need to try to make it so that a slug is only used once. But let's say I don't want my automation to fail, I don't want my API call to fail. I'll just put alternative slug here as yes. Once it's selected to yes, if that custom slug is already taken on my domain, on my subdomain, then Roo will randomize a new, create a new slug that is totally random, just like it always does. If I select no and it's taken, I get an error. If I select yes and the slug isn't taken, Roo obviously uses it. So I just changed the alternative slug to yes. And you'll see that the slug search was taken, and it's randomizing a new slug for me, and it obviously takes me right to that same place, to Google. And like I said before, all the logic that you have, all the brains that you have with Roo links are available now on your custom branded domain. So that's how to connect a subdomain to your Roo account, how to do the configuration. Like I said, if the technical side is not something that I'm not good with the technical side of servers and stuff like that, so I had help for that, so I know how to do that on our domain. But You can always send it to someone who's more proficient in configuring servers and DNS and hosts and etc. But you only have to do it once. The second you do it, you have your custom domain now across all your short links, and it's good for both branding, like I said before, but also making sure that only you're using that specific domain for the short links, and you're using your links. So that's everything. And if you have any problem, any issue, something you want to talk to us about, just write us and enjoy your short links.